message. Thank you for being here. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If messages are giving you any type of clarity, I'm grateful. Yeah, whoever I'm talking to, I feel like I'm talking to somebody who have always been consistent on working on something. You've been wanting to grow. You've been working on something. Yeah, I feel right now it's more like you co-creating. You are co-creating. You are seeing things moving for you. I think you may be realizing that you have no hold of what's to happen. It's more like the divine source is actually in power. You are only a vessel. You are here to co-create. Yeah, whoever I'm talking to, I feel like uh, continue being yourself. Continue giving this warmth to others. Continue having being emotionally stable. There's a need for you to be emotionally stable right now. Yeah, whoever I'm talking to, there's a need for you to be very much stable right now, as your contentment is what makes you shine. I feel your healed nature, however you are, it's what makes you shine. Yeah, and that's what empowering, your contentment, your healed nature is what's empowering others, not just yourself. It's what's empowering and actually makes you more magnetic. Yeah, your healed nature, your loving spirit. Yeah, whoever I'm talking to, I feel like I'm talking to somebody who has a very beautiful heart. I feel that's what attracts people more up towards you. However way you are doing things, however way you are receiving others. Yeah, whoever I'm talking to, you know yeah, you come off as very much healed, and it's more like with you being healed, it's like now you can see through others. You have a lot of people seeing through you, and people feel like now you trust yourself more than ever. Yeah, you have a lot of people feeling like now you trust yourself more than ever. People feel like you are so you cannot you've changed. Yeah, you pretty much you've changed, and you cannot be discovered. You cannot be, what is this word, you cannot be tamed. Yeah, people feel like you are forever expanding, you are forever growing. Yeah, you are more like a magician. You know how to forever change. Yeah, people feel like that about you. And funny thing, you still remain the same, you still remain yourself. But then your wisdom, it seems like you it continuously grow. Yeah, people see that about you. Yeah, you have a lot of people, you know seeing like you don't regret whatever may have happened in the past. It's more like you've withdrawn your energy. Yeah, people feel like you don't care about whatever happened in the past. It is more like instead you are more like protecting your energy from people from the past. Yeah, you have people feeling like you don't care about the past, like literally. You don't care, you're just protecting yourself from these motherfuckers. You're protecting your energy. Yeah, these people are feeling like you are now owning your power. You are more enthusiastic. You are more free spirited. These are people who are watching you going towards new projects. Yeah, these are people who are watching you moving towards calmer waters. Yeah, you have people feeling like you don't care of what happened in the past. Let's see some more on this energy. Let's see some more on this energy. Yeah, you have people talking about your inner strength. Yeah, I feel people from the past, they see you've always had this inner strength from way long, from back then. You have a lot of people talking about you and your inner strength, on how resilient you are, how courageous. You have this quiet strength about you, and it's more like you working with souls. It's something that's bringing in unexpected changes towards others, because I feel people never actually expected for you to be this somebody who's very much spiritual or methodical. Yeah, you have a lot of people who may have thought that you are very much limited. Yeah, they will have may have thought that you are very much limited, but now it's more like the scales have been balanced. People are seeing you are somebody who loves to do the right thing. You are somebody who's more like, yeah, of justice. You bring justice to situations. People weren't expecting for you to be this hardworking individual who's more like self-made. I feel a lot of people may have thought that you are very much codependent collective. You have a lot of people who may have thought that you need them more than they need you. You have a lot of people who may have thought that you need them more than they need you. Hence, they were treating you however way they were treating you. You know, and you kept on being humble because that's your nature, that's who you are a very humble creature, you are somebody who's very much respectful. Yeah, right now it's more like you brought in unexpected changes. Yeah, it's more like people don't believe what they're seeing. It's more like this transition of yours is actually too much. Yeah, it's very much too much. I feel people didn't know what they needed, what you had to bring to the table. Because now they get to realize they actually needed what you bring to the table. Yeah, these are people who are more like, yeah, watching things may be moving slowly for you, but then you still keep remaining. You're still yourself. Things may be moving slow for you, but then you're still remaining yourself, and you still co-create with the universe, and you still understand that you are the vessel. Yeah, these are people who are from your past, people who have past memories of you. Yeah, that I feel like you no longer care to connect. You are very much disasso- you are very much disconnected from them. Yeah, these are people who are feeling very much challenged by you right now. They don't believe this emotional and spiritual intelligence that you have. Look at them. They're so delusional. They're like, oh my god, for real, did collective change like this? Oh my god, I'm still at the same place. You have people reflecting at their lives, realizing how much they entertain mediocre. You know, yeah, like literally, these are people who are now seeing you as a very much limitless being. They see you as this limitless being that's planting uh, that's invested in themselves because you're planting seeds of potential. Yeah, you have these people feeling like, oh my God, they may have thought that things are moving slow for you, but in actual fact, because you're co creating, a lot has been happening behind the scenes. A lot has been happening behind the scenes because you are co creating with Source, with God, with the divine, something that they actually neglect. Yeah, I feel you may even be a water sign with a Pisces and a Queen of Cups being here. Yeah, I feel these are people who are having good memories of you. Yeah, they remember how you used to be such a people pleaser, on how you used to go out of your way. Mm. I mean, literally, these people, they don't believe your shine. They don't believe how empowered you are right now. They weren't expecting for you to be this empowered overall. These are people who are seeing now you are very much magnetic. You are very much attractive. These are people who see you as somebody who knows how to manifest. They admire your confidence. Yeah, I feel like collective, you've changed drastically from who you were to who you are right now. These are people who just can't deny the truth. These are people whom you are giving clarity. You are giving them this spiritual awakening, awarenesses. These are people who sees you are living in your authentic truth. Yeah, right now it's more like they feel left out in the cold. Yeah, these are people who are seeing their lack mindset. These are people who are actually recognizing their own lack mindset. How much they enable things to happen in their lives. They allow situations to prolong in their lives. Yeah, these are people whom you were in connections with, or people in your community. Yeah, with the four of wands being here, that's the community card, that's the twin flame card, that's the stability card. Yeah, pretty much. These are people who are more like watching you as somebody who's very much emotionally stable. You can see right through them. These are people who see you as somebody who knows the secrets, the hidden secrets. Pretty much, a lot of sacred knowledge. These are people who see you as somebody who trusts themselves. They view you as somebody who trust themselves way too much. You are way too confident. You are way too trusting of yourself. These may be people who may even be saying that you are full of yourself. Because some people hate it when somebody actually trust in themselves or be confident in who they are. People love people who are actually vulnerable. But anyway, let's step right into it. Yeah, right now it seems like collective, you are doing the most for yourself. You are very much focused on your victory. You are very much focused on your success. You are very much focused on getting your life together. You are very much focused. It seems like you are too driven. Yeah, these are people who are more like too fixated on you, with the chariot being here. They're watching you making movements for yourself. Yeah, pretty much you are transitioning. You are transitioning. You are no longer resonating with your old self. And this is so stressing a lot of people because they know they cannot come back to your life with that outdated thinking, because clearly you are now speaking another language. They're going to have to keep up. Yeah, they're going to have to keep up. And that makes them feel very much uncomfortable because these are people who always want to get away with whatever they want. They always want to get away with things at all cost. Yeah, no, right now these are people who are more like, having the desire to come forward. They're watching you being free spirited. Yeah, they didn't bring in fairness, but then it seems like these are people who are more like watching you being generous to yourself. These may be people who are more like, these are people who are like giving you little to nothing. Yeah, right now they may want to be fair towards you. They may be wanting to try to be fair, but then it seems like it's a strict program this side. Yeah, it seems like you have boundaries on. It's a strict program this side. Nah, I don't have time to play or whatever. I have time to make big decisions. I'm way too focused on myself. That's the vibes. That's your language. Yeah. These are people who are so fixated on you, collective. Right now you have people fixated on you. Yeah, you are so disconnected. You are so uninterested. You are so unbothered. It's more like you are literally focused on other things. Look at them bringing their cups. You're like, nah, I'm focused on other things. I'm actually looking at that other cup. I want that other cup. I'm busy strategizing on how to move forward. I'm busy resting myself, putting things into place. I'm busy working on my challenges. Yeah, you are working on your challenges right now. You are somebody who comes off as very much resilient, and I feel like these people know that about you. You're collective. Continue building. You are inspiring. You have people wanting to collaborate with you. Yeah, these are people who are watching you being rooted. You are working on your wish fulfillment right now. You are blending the old and the new. You are blending the old and the new. You are making things happen for yourself. Yeah. There's no need to be hard on yourself. You're allowed to be patient with yourself, you know. Yeah, exactly. There's no need for you to fear. Remember you how powerful you are. There's no need for you to fear. Just go with it. Just move with the flow. Pretty much, it's always tea time. Avoid repeating cycles. Move with the flow and avoid repeating cycles. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to these people, I feel right now it's more like, yeah, they are all mad, but then it's different this side. This side we are good. Yeah, these are people who are mad that they didn't take risks on themselves. These are people who are more like watching how much you trust yourself, and you actually have this emotional stability. You are a creator. You are so creative, you cannot help it. Yeah, these are people who more like seeing you are not willing to repeat a reputation, and they are very much mad. Yeah, they can be all the mad all mad they want, because you belong to your own dreams. You belong to your own dreams, collective. You are busy creating your own life. You belong to your own dreams. You are busy creating your own life. Yeah, right now that's the vibes with you. It's more like you don't want people who are coming in with empty promises. You just can't stand people who are gonna come in with empty promises. not living in the now, not living in delusional land. You don't want that in your life. It's more like, what is it that you want, and you've chose. It's a choice for you to become who you are. You've chose to be who you are. You've chose not to repeat the cycle. You've chose to withdraw yourself before, meaning you've chose to go with the path that you are in right now. I feel right now it's more like these are people who see you didn't change in one night. Hence they don't know, even when they come, how are you going to, these are people who are gonna have to be come in, not pretend. But then I feel, nah, these are people who just want relevance. But then your discernment will tell you. Let me not talk too much. Your discernment will tell you. Yeah, these are people who are watching you rectifying your mistakes. Yeah, they are watching you rectifying your mistakes, rebuilding yourself. Yeah, hustling on yourself. You are rebuilding, you are making, rebranding yourself. They just want to repeat a cycle. They are very much mad. Yeah, they want to come in with their own empty words, empty promises. These are people who are just, they are bored. They are bored. Thing is, they are bored, and they are bored watching you manifest, and you are bored by them. You are bored by old things. They are bored watching you, and you are so unbothered by them. Yeah, these are people who just see that you have this belief in yourself. You are so strange. I feel these are people who didn't expect for you to have this belief. I feel even your belief, it may be a strange encounter. It may be something that's unconventional, something that people are never thinking of, something that was very much out of the box. I feel these are people who see you as very much, you have strange beliefs. Yeah, these may be people who feel like you have strange beliefs collective. Yeah, right now you come off as very much grounded, and they are so curious on what's going on in that life, what's going on in collective's life. We are busy seeing her shine, and we don't know what's going on. Yeah, you'll make it through this. Don't worry, collective. Whatever it is that you're going through, you'll make it through it. I know these are people who are not even supporting you. These are people who are never be there for you, but then they want to know your business. Look at them and how hard they are going through to get to know your business. You see, they may say you're not relevant, but it seems like you're way too relevant than they give you credit for. Yeah, a moment's regret. These are people who are so regretful. These are people who are so regretful. Yeah, right now it's more like you're doing a lot of things. You have a lot of people regretting, yeah, however way they did their mistakes. Yeah, they regret they made mistakes. They weren't expecting, things to blow out in their face. They weren't expecting for things to blow out in their face. Let's see, two more. Yeah, right now continue planting those seeds of potentials. Continue planting. Don't sleep on yourself. Be in the now. Be in the now. Be grateful. Enjoy life's simple pleasures. Yeah, with renewal and rebirth, I cannot making up. You are going through a transformation. Right now, just continue doing what you have to do, collective.